may ask, yes, you know I have to do it. I have to do the random plug. So this afternoon at 1 p.m. I will be streaming Battlefleet Gothic. And Sunday, get ready for Warhammer 40k Tabletop. But the important thing for this plug is to remember that I have a book coming out that you need to hopefully want to order. Fallout Equestria Dead Tree Volume 1. And depending on how well this one does will depend on if I can get Traveling Pony Museum to publish Volume 2. Yes, we have permission from Bethesda, and yes, we have permission from Hasbro. So the book is a go. Check the description for a link to purchase the book. On to the show! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? So, the devs of this game went ahead and gave me the go-ahead to review it. They did want me to remind you, this is currently in early access, and major modifications will still be done to Freeman Guerilla Warfare. What is Freeman Guerilla Warfare? Well, why don't you imagine that Arma and Mount&Blade got together, did the nasty, and had a baby. Now I'm going to let that sick, twisted thought sit in your mind this entire review. Freeman Guerilla Warfare. I have put a total of 19 hours into this game to review it for you. I actually think it's fun, but I'm going to describe why in a moment. So first off, I want to make this statement to the developers. Not having a tutorial for a game that has this many different commands and thoughts and stuff, and just having these very simple basic instructions, not okay. You should probably build a tutorial section. I imagine that's something still under construction. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Second off, this is great as far as minimal computer effort. The music is constant orchestra. I really would prefer some very customized music for different type of battle situations and the like. Controls fully customizable, top to bottom. Graphics are absolutely awful customization options. I do like you have a field of view slider, but I would ask that you really flesh this out some more for individual things if at all possible. Now, moving on to the actual game. I'm going to load. There's only one save slot right now. Can't get behind that because what if my little brother wants to play on my computer? I'm going to lose my save slot. Now, there's no good place for me to truly put my camera, but we're going to go over each aspect of the game. So as I mentioned, this is like Arma and Mount&Blade had a baby. So there's the whole party management system from Mount&Blade, including armored vehicles and non-armored vehicles that just act as transports to speed you up. And boy, do they speed you up. The difference in having vehicles and not is black and white. They're expensive though, so that kind of evens out. And you have to have gasoline for them as well as food for your men. Squads are broken down into units of 1 to 9, and your leadership indicates how many squads you can put on the field. You have a prisoner system. Right now it's very basic. Either you give them propaganda, you torture them, and then persuade them to join you. You execute them or you release them. There's no real way to ransom them, which is a little disappointing. I've actually had to work a long time to get this much in my army and this much money together. Like I said, it's been an uphill battle. Here's your character screen, exactly straight out of, like I said, it's Mount&Blade, had a baby with Arma. You get up to 3 different weapons, including your sidearm, and you have an equipment list down here that I am going to level this complaint. There's no way to make this equipment list bigger. And larger scale battles, I've noticed you need a bigger equipment list. Also, if your maximum army size is 65, I really want to know why the computer gets a maximum army size of in the hundreds. I understand I can only deploy 65 at once, but this feels a little weird to me. Especially to see computer. I'm estimating that I'm only going to increase my party size another 3 points, so that's only going to bring me up to 121, and I've seen computer armies roaming around of 200 plus. I'm wondering what's up with that, so if you can fill me in, devs, be nice. Furthermore, each piece of equipment, you have a direct vest, you have clothing that provides some armor and camouflage bonuses. Camouflage is actually important because it determines how quickly you were spotted by NPCs. A very basic contract board. There's 0 voice acting in the game yet. I would gladly lend my voice to this game because it is actually fun once you get the controls down. Again, and just like Mount&Blade, weapons, equipment traders, they have a limited number of credits. I kind of feel that this should be done away with, because if this is a full-blown town with a full-blown market bazaar type deal, they really shouldn't have a limit on credits, especially when I do the math and they have more stock than money. Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. So this section, I kind of feel like this should be increased drastically, or there should be a way to increase it. Instead of just increasing how much you get for stuff. And again, you can buy vehicles. Certain towns have certain vehicles. At present, I have seen everything I have. You have tanks, you have mortar or light artillery vehicles, you have armored cars with machine guns, and then you have non-combat vehicles that transport your guys around. But something that this adds that Mount&Blade didn't. I can fully customize my troopers' equipment. I can upgrade my troopers individually to have more health and more accuracy, and I can give individual soldiers items to boost their morale. Didn't have that. I also get to see individual soldiers' wages and experience point pools, and they level up beyond just getting to the next ability to upgrade to a more advanced unit. So these will upgrade to female fighters, which then can upgrade to combat medics or veteran female fighters. I'm kind of disappointed that only women can be combat medics. I was kind of looking forward to, you know, having different roles for both genders, but I mean, that's fine. I can live with it. It's not that big a deal. It's just a suggestion or a thought. But from there, I also noticed I only have one general as of yet, and I can't actually assign her to lead another army. So that's a feature that obviously hasn't been implemented yet. But it's on the roadmap. Now, from here, I roam around the map just like I would in Mount&Blade. This is very familiar to us. The difference being this is in Unity 3, whereas Mount&Blade is originally in Unity number 2. Now I'm going to go find a small combat so you guys can get a feel for how combat works. We're going to take on this small group of looters. There's 13 of them. I saw that on the map. I saw that they were infantry. My relationship with bandits immediately decreases because I'm attacking them. I'm only going to deploy 2 squads, because this is much later in the game. Like I said, at this point, I just saw the 20-hour mark tick over. Now, I get to choose between my different weapons. Unlike Mount&Blade, however, I only have an arrow indicating the general direction the enemy is traveling at the start of the map. I don't actually know where they are. This is where camouflage plays into account, but also, I can order squads to move exactly where I want them, and I can give different orders for compensating for them. Now again, I'm going to have to move my camera because we don't need to know about the stats anymore. So this has a very good feel to it. I've now explained the basics of the game, and when I say this has a very good feel to it, the gunplay feels solid. There is actual ballistics in the game, which I'm hopefully going to be able to demonstrate here. And it took me a while to learn that until I started actually seeing the bullets traveling down range and bouncing off of something and realizing, oh, they actually have real ballistics. This is not hit skin. I was genuinely surprised. So part of this roaming around right now is trying to locate the enemy. Now that timer up there is an indicator to when both sides' positions will be revealed to each other, only in so much as a general area of where they're standing. So the idea is to hopefully find the enemy before they find you, and find, or once both sides are revealed, make sure that you're not so spread out that you're going to get ambushed. There they are. So actual ballistics. If I just fire here, it hits the dirt. If I aim up, right in the head. And this is a sniper rifle, and optics are king in this game. I hate to say it, but optics really are king. And also, the reason I didn't bring vehicles is because I've noticed that automatic weapons, even though vehicles have really high armor, armor degrades. So as you get shot, armor goes down. And so it's just like Doom. The armor system in this game is exactly like Doom. As you get shot, you lose armor. As you lose armor, your health takes more damage. Then eventually your armor just becomes worthless and your health takes all the damage. And just like Mount&Blade, once you drop, you have to decide if your soldiers are going to continue the attack without you. Now I'm hearing shots landing near me. So I'm wondering, yep, we've located the enemy. I can't make the shot from here with my assault rifle, so we're going to take the sniper scope out. Okay. And there is an enemy somewhere. I'm guessing they're behind the hill. So I'm going to switch back out here. And we're going to make our way to the top of this hill. Now I can order my guys to go to a next waypoint, or I can clear the current waypoint and give them a new one. And orders are that simple. They're that, and they're rather precise. I'm kind of enjoying how precise they are. We've obviously encountered something somewhere because somebody's getting shot at. So even when you're trying to take a town, orders are very precise and to the point. Now, you as the player do have a massive ability to influence the battle, but you will really find that early on it becomes important to master the commander abilities, and I kind of like that. Your soldiers are just as important as you are in making sure to keep the enemy both pinned down and located. And also, if you try to Rambo this, just like in Mount&Blade, if you try to Rambo something, you're probably gonna die. A lot. Now, my frustrations with the game is the grinding. Just like Mount&Blade, you're going to be grinding for the first 10 to 20 levels. Just flat out. You are going to be smashing your head against the wall and bashing your way in to try and just like get that little bit of extra XP to get a small tiny fragment of a boost. Now, you will notice later on that these boosts do matter. Another qualm I have with the game is you'll notice my ammo counter says 5.4. There goes a whole clip. Those extra 5 bullets I had in the clip are gone. We're all used to games where we have an ammo counter and we can have a precise count of our ammunition stack, and we just don't have that here. And that is a problem in my opinion, because it means that I have to make the decision of just losing bullets, and in a larger scale like a town battle where bullets are literally super important, losing those bullets can mean the difference in life and death. The other thing I've noticed is that vehicles are wonderful in tighter areas, like towns. And the computer right now is very unbalanced when it comes to its town assaults. I mean, it's just brutally harsh on you, both when you're attacking and you're defending. I have seen them muster up 200 level troops, something you can't do at all, with multiple generals show up outside your town and just wreck your garrison. And your garrison sizes for a player are so much smaller. And I know that's not intentional. That can't be intentional, that all the tools the computer has, you as the player are denied. So I'm really hoping they fix that. In its current state, it's great for 10-20 minutes of run around and shoot stuff, but the actual goal of uniting this country out of this civil war, not really feasible right now. So it's just, there are little frustrations like that that make the long-term game just not very fun and playable. Also, there's a lot of this tactical movement that you're doing. We've now been playing this same fight. It's a small fight. It's not even a big fight. I could bring in the rest of my soldiers and just train wreck this. But I'm giving you what you should expect to have for soldiers out the gate. And if I was giving you what you expect to have for weapons, I would be using my pistol the whole time. Which, it's kind of annoying that all you start with is a pistol, and you have to hopefully loot a rifle, because the 146,000 I have is legitimately from just sitting around here going on quest after quest after quest after quest with really decent weapons and vehicles. Vehicles are so important. And as you can see, we're now in a pursuit situation where I've got to cut this guy off.
This way.
And I could deploy troops to my deployment zone to cut them off quickly, but I kind of want to show you guys how the actual close-in fighting works, so you can see the armor and health system in play. Using a med kit at the end of a battle is just a godsend, because you can use it so you don't have to rest, because you can just heal yourself. I think that's a feature that should be taken out, because I think you should have to pay for getting shot, and it feels like you're not really being punished for getting shot, and here come the enemy. So I'm going to use the assault rifle for this. And even the assault rifle has ballistics. From this range, I'm not doing very much damage, and I know that. I need to get closer, but I'm currently being focus fired because I'm the closest target. And you can see the enemies actually get down and take cover. We're going to do the same. I'm taking cover behind the tree and just going to kind of light this guy up. But you can see that if I just hold down the button and fire full auto, I'm going to be punished. Yeah, I got the guy, but I wasted half a clip to get him. And considering I'm only carrying 5 clips total, and there's the armor system at work, you see me just taking hit after hit. I do believe one of them, yeah, that was a machine gunner who just like lit me up with about 8 or 9 hits. Ripped my armor through, but I was able to push through it. And when I'm talking about healing at the end of the battle, if I started healing then, it would finish the healing process instead of stopping me because the battle was over and I wouldn't be punished for having rushed forward there at the end when it was unnecessary. You do have an inventory system. I think it's really too limiting. I think you should have more inventory. And again, you can persuade to join, imprison, execute, or release. I just execute them because I don't want to have to deal with them later, potentially. This is the game. This is the core fundamentals of the game. Up here in the upper right, we see I have what day we're on. It's been 8 days of just constant grinding. And to show you how long it takes for an hour to pass. That's an hour. That was an hour in-game. And now I'll show you just a little bit of vehicle combat and we'll wrap up the review. Apparently I'm having a... Okay, I don't know what this bug is, but I can't interact with this unit right now. Again, it is early access. There are bugs. I'm going to save and reload real quick to fix it. And again, we only have 1 save slot. There we go. There are bugs. There are things where like my gun comes up and it doesn't quite work, but early access, and I did warn you guys that there would be some bugs. We are going to deploy some, we're going to deploy our armored units. Here's my total deployment count. So I'm going to get my armored vehicles out here just to kind of show how they work. We'll put in the door kickers so they can get some XP, and we'll put in, I'm just going to deploy full army so you guys can see how well the game handles this many units on the field. So I've got 3 vehicles out here now, including a mortar truck, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squads of infantry. I'm going to move this over here so that I kind of balance it out. And we're going to close.
Hold your position.
And the battle has begun. So the game handles rather well, by the way. I have not had any slowdown errors with this many troops out. And we're just going to make a cone here to kind of hem in the enemy. Too bad I can't manually drive my vehicles. And yes, you can get run over. As you can see, the mortar is doing its work where you see explosive shells landing, as is the tank. You could throw grenades surprisingly far, by the way. I'm going to draw out a short-range weapon here because I get the distinct impression that I'm walking right in the middle of them. So there's a grenade. I do think they have a bit of a long fuse time for a realistic grenade because they just went off.
Hold your position.
It's about a 7-8 second timer instead of 5.
Target destroyed.
Alright, we're going to send our vehicle forward. But I promised you guys some vehicle combat just so you can see how it works. The problem here is there's no way to repair these vehicles, by the way. So if they suffer damage, which this thing is taking hits right now, it is suffering damage despite the fact it's an armored car, and they're just firing assault rifles. You can see it start smoking, but it's doing its job, which is just murdering these looters. Switch my pistol because I'm in close here.
I'm in position.
The gunplay is surprisingly satisfying and accurate. Especially early on when you're not very good with the guns, you feel kind of recoily and shifty back and forth, and like it's not really useful or working properly. And then once you get your skills up, as you can see, you can just take your 45 and just pump someone full of lead. So the gunplay is surprisingly good. Again, I don't care about these guys. Quests are very responsive and useful. There's just too bad there's no NPCs. I would gladly, if the developers wished, lend my voice to this project because it seems like a project worth lending my voice to. I just right-click to re-equip ammunition real quick, so boom, boom, boom. I have all my bullets back, I have my grenade back, and that's the game. This is the core fundamentals of it. We are playing Mount&Blade and Arma having a baby, and it's legitimately fun. It is a joy to play this. It has features that we asked for in Mount&Blade that we never got, like equipping individual troops the way we want to equip them. It has vehicles and faster movement for our troops on the map. The load times are shorter. The modability of this game is the same we can expect from any Unity engine. And if I wanted to recruit new soldiers, I'll show you exactly how that works. So I click here, I'm given a list of soldiers. If I don't want a particular soldier, I just click them and they're out of the squad. So then I can pick and choose who I recruit. And here's the ones I can recruit from here. And each of the soldiers is different. These FCA squads, for instance, will turn out different than these mercenaries, some of which are just veteran mercenaries already maxed out, who will turn out different from these militia. And to illustrate this for you, here we go. We're actually right here. I need more combat medics. I always need more combat medics. And you need a better vest for sure. But as you can see, that's my one problem, is those guys had no anti-tank weapons and managed to just rip this vehicle apart. And I have oh, I can fix it now. That's an update that I didn't see. I can fix it now. But I can't fix minor damage, so I wish I could fix minor damage, please. But everyone has their own unique upgrade tree. As I said, these FCA guys upgrade to ARF, and then upgrade to Spec Ops and Machine Gunners, and all these other their RAF recruits then can upgrade into Spec Op, Machine Gunner, or Anti-Tank Specialist. So everyone has this really cool unique upgrade tree. It does cost money. As you can see, I've already spent like a few $1,000s on just upgrades, and I still have to go buy this new combat medic a new vest. So let's get her some equipment real quick just to show you how this works, and make sure that you understand it. So I'm going to just buy her the most expensive things I possibly can that are probably the best for her. The only sort option I have here is from most expensive to least expensive, which is kind of dissatisfying. I wish I could sort by weapons and gear and ammunition and all that stuff, but I can't. And again, I really am annoyed at how small our inventory actually is, particularly when you start getting a bigger army. This smaller inventory just feels like it's painfully restricting the player rather than acting like an actual resource management. It's just constantly having to go back to town to sell stuff instead of giving you something practical with an army that has 60 plus people in it. So I'm really hoping the devs take this criticism to heart. I'm paying 9,000 credits, that's fine. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at this, where's she at? This new medic. There she is. So we're going to give her helmet, and you can see up here on the screen, even though her picture doesn't change, you can see up here, here she is. The helmet changes on her character model. So what they're wearing on their character model is actually what they're equipped with. And it works out rather beautifully. So there we go. And now she's got extra equipment that she didn't have before, like the protective faceplate and the combat gloves, all totaling up to give her an armor of 179. Whereas base, her armor is kind of very low and fidgety. Armor is based on location as well, so if I keep shooting someone in the chest, their chest armor will break first. If I keep shooting someone in the head, their helmet will break. So when you break pieces of armor off of individuals who are particularly high level, it makes it easier to just do more damage to them. My biggest qualm with this is the fact that your legs have very light armor, and aiming for your legs can just blow your leg armor right off, as can your foot armor and your hands. So your extremities are obviously the target that you want to go for, instead of just pumping someone in the chest who has like 70 points of armor on their chest. But as a general overview of the game, I legitimately have enjoyed my time with Freeman Guerilla Warfare. I'm glad for the patron who suggested this. If you are a second or top tier patron, a commissar or a full champion, you can suggest a game every month. So I want to personally thank the person who suggested I try this one out. It's only $15. That's it. It's $15. I was legitimately surprised by the price. In a good way. I was legitimately happy with the price. In a good way. I can say that. So I look forward to what this game has to develop, and when it comes out, there will be a re-review once it's out of early access. That much said, this game does have a long way to go to truly be a good modern-day combat game against things like, and be comparable to Mount&Blade. I am informed there is an overhaul in progress of the entire game, and they have released their roadmap for development, which I'm happy for, as you might imagine. But they're going to have to follow through with that roadmap, and I really hope the developer does stay in touch and keep us all up to date with this game. In the meantime, this has been Fiaura the Tank Girl. I hope you've enjoyed this review / preview of the early access of Freeman Guerilla Warfare. Again, this was a requested game. I will see you guys this afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Battlefleet Gothic, and I will see you Sunday for Warhammer 40k at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where we play tabletop Warhammer 40k for the Black Crusade. Lastly, I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. for Reviewers Web. We're going to go take a look at an episode and see how it stands up with all my other favorite friends. So here's the previous one. Here's a really cool one, a game I really think is cool. And, support me on Patreon. Go check out my store. Maybe you'll find something useful, or hit the like button. And subscribe if you found this useful. In the meantime, good night, everybody.